Alright, hello everyone, it's mysticjuicer back with some more Yomi action. This is the first round in losers of Summer Smash 4, myself versus Jamie Chan. I'm not sure exactly who he plays, so I am starting with Onimaru, feeling relatively confident that he's not going to be playing DeGray or Argagarg, and we get Grave. So, generally, if I'm playing a newer player, so newer players, if you're aiming to get into Yomi and you're going to fight me first, I will generally play a very, very defensive, very risk minimization style, and hope that that will lead to a victory. Because newer players will tend to try to play to win combat. That will allow me to take a more successful strategic approach to winning games that way. So early game here being controlled by Jamie Chan with Jack, and then getting a lot of blocks out of it. Generally, I'm just happy here to not be taking much damage. I'm going to start activating, now that I've got 10 cards in hand, I'm going to start activating my dodges and start getting some damage in this way. Sixes will always be the primary target to discard, as they are not much good for anything except for blocking. So as soon as I have gotten my damage in, go right back to holding down back and just take some more lightning cloud damage. I don't really care about these little accumulated hits, so long as it keeps Jack in his hand and he's satisfied to continue playing it, then I am generally fine. I can start mixing in some attacks to see if he's going to go back to blocking. In this case, he's gone to throws instead, and I'm quite happy to take a chance on playing an 8 and losing it to a Jack if he chooses to play it at that point. So no power-ups for aces in this matchup. It's going to be very important for me to keep an eye on Graves' likelihood to have True Power of Storms in hand. He's going to have a big incentive to try to dodge into True Power of Storm, so I'm very, very happy to start this match off with a Joker in hand. Onimaru has quite a lot of difficulty dealing with characters with a lot of dodges. Grave doesn't have a tremendous amount of them. I think he's got 3 ranks, just like Oni does. But nevertheless. So Jamie immediately retrieves, so powers up 6s, immediately retrieves an ace, goes for the throw because he expects me to start blocking, and so we cash in some additional damage here. Working on a nice little life lead, and you can basically see the importance of Joker management and trying to get to the late game with a Joker in hand. Right here, because we've got about a 40 hit point lead, and that is going to disappear very rapidly if we're hit by True Power of Storms. So nice bit of equalizing play there with the 7, follows up with a losing throw with another throw. So I'm counting on the fact that he is going to continue to adjust his range and think that, oh, okay, well, he's definitely going to attack or something, so I can start dodging or getting aces involved here. Luckily for me, as Onimaru, I do have Final Authority as an option. So that's going to make it very difficult for Jamie Chan to play the aces raw, because if he plays the aces raw, he risks losing to a more dominant attack if I reveal a Jack, a Queen, or a King with Final Authority backing. So I'm playing very defensively right now. He has started mixing in throws and dodges, try to equalize life totals, doing a very, very good job of coming back into this game. Grave generally, I think, has pretty good throw damage, actually. 21 damage off of throws, or 20 damage or so, is really nice. And yeah, just not letting up with the throws. I'm watching myself on camera and I'm just like, okay, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Goes for the knockdown here. So I'm expecting a threat of cross-up into True Power of Storms. Could also be dodge into True Power of Storms setup time. But with the Joker in hand, I can reasonably expect to stand up here. If I'm Jamie Chan, it's not a bad place here to try to go for a cross-up. He's at much higher health than I can kill in any one shot. Onimaru does not have the traditional like high damage super. His aces merely activate and kind of distribute the damage of a super to his face cards. Yeah, so I don't know what the kind of player that Jamie Chan is, so I'm really playing very, very safe. So ordinarily I might try to bluff something here, but I don't know if he's the kind of player who would just let True Power of Storms rip. So I elect to be a little bit more defensive, and that ends up paying off nicely. So now with that established, the fact that I will respect True Power of Storms when he has it, I can start mixing in different options. I can start bluffing more effectively. I can, just play a bunch of mind games with Joker reveals now that I've established this kind of precedent. Because you are definitely not, as another player, going to ignore when your when your 45 damage comeback super gets jokered in the first round. Okay, eating a bunch of face cards here as I try to get in on Jamie Chan. Went for 2 10s, got a third 10 in hand. So hoping he tries to continue to defend himself, but he does not. Switches to dodging, having baited me successfully. I'm going to go ahead and bluff this anyway, just in case he does have some, a fourth ace or something. I don't think there's anything you don't spend in this case. He might go for knockdown setup. But yeah, I've established basically dodge has not been revealed at all for my part. Throw. Throw has not been revealed. I have not revealed a throw at all this match. And that's just generally because throw is a very risky option. If you are throwing, it is guaranteed that somebody is taking damage, especially in this matchup where there are no throw clashes. So against the new player, I am going to be very hesitant. I'm going to try to rely on Guard Crush almost exclusively, and Final Authority generally to close things out. So nicely done on Jamie Chan's part. Takes game 1 with some clever dodging, and even in spite of whiffing True Power of Storms. So well done him. So now that we've established a baseline of play for our opponent, we're going to see what we can do. I briefly consider switching into something else, but he's playing... I feel like I have a better chance of winning this game by playing more towards conditioning than switching to something like Troq and then having to kind of relearn Jamie's habits all over again. So again, establishing very early block range. I'm going to go with the throw here just to try to convince him that I don't in fact have any Guard Crush normals. So we'll see if this bit of value trapping works, see how it goes. So he has established that he is very, very heavy on the block button. And I haven't really pressed a ton of Guard Crush normals in the early game. I definitely went for it in the late game. But so this is gonna be the first rage shift in the match. And luckily, he is still very much establishing a very early high block range. He's blocked, I think, about 4 turns in a row. So we can get a lot of free damage here. That is 51 free points of damage, uncontested. We've got a ton of hit points remaining. Hoping at this point that he starts to defend himself. Could have gone for the 3rd Guard Crush in a row, but really did not expect that to work. And there we go. Okay, we lose the normal, but we are still working on a very significant life lead. We have 3 7s and 3 kings in hand. So we're very well equipped to take this into the late game. We've got huge explosive damage off of the kings, which is not always a guarantee. And we've got the tons of dominant throws. So lots of nice things that we can do. And he is still blocking. I've really got to hand it to Jamie. Like his commitment to holding down back is really incredible. And against a character and a player who has guard crushed 2 or 3 times in a row, that can be very, very difficult to do just from a bravery standpoint. Okay, draw another 5. So again, we've got a couple of nice options to shut something down. And just as we go for our first block of the game, we get tossed on our backs. I'm very unhappy with that. And just like that, he has brought it to within 10 hit points of equal. We're going to stick to blocking here, establish our own stubbornness, see how he reacts to that. I do, however, worry because Jamie Chan has been really on point with his throw timing and has essentially made now 2 games worth of comebacks on the backs of very good throw damage. And there we go, 3 throws in a row. Just absolutely showing me that he too is able to push the same option a couple of times and should be respected for it. We go down 223. Jamie Chan reestablishes the life lead. We've got tons of big normals, no dodges. But at this point, dodges might just get us in trouble. So probably best for us to start finding our own courage. Go back to blocking again. Finally hit something of value. Jamie Chan blinking first, playing Gold Burst. And now we're going to see, now that he has established a difference in his range, see if we can get a free dodge off of him. Still playing very, very defensive here. See if we can go in for 20 damage. No. Different options we can go for. So again, with a larger hand, given the fact that we've dodged so often, we probably have something of value to dodge into. So see if we can get him to stop dodging by playing something of value. The aces are the only thing that look big, right? Like they disappear out of your hand, as opposed to kings, which you have to commit. You only commit one of them 2 at a time. So if I play single king and he dodges it, I could have up to 3 additional kings left in hand. So at this point, I am largely worried about dodge throw. It's possible that he could go for an attack of some kind, but it seems unlikely given how he's been playing. So I figure the throw is an okay option. Turns out very much not to be. We still have enough throw damage to finish off this game. We could also close things out with kings. Definitely have to be worried about dodges, hence why I'm spending the 10 against, again, having established in the first game the fact that I am very willing to not dodge. I think to not throw. The fact that I threw the 10. I'm actually really happy I ended up doing that. Because I'm throwing with the 10, it could indicate that I actually don't have another throw in hand. That coupled with the fact that I've been really unwilling to throw, and getting that 7 in, close out game 2 very, very narrowly. Good lord. Jamie Chan definitely making me sweat here. So we'll try to establish something else here. He has opened really, really block heavy the first 2 games. So I'm going to just try to go in, see if he's somebody who just will resolutely block until he has a certain amount of cards in hand, just hoping that Onimaru runs out of Guard Crush normals. So we'll try to establish a fear of that. Luckily, we draw into another 6, so we have something of relatively low value to throw away there. Rather keep the kings. These matches can maybe go long enough that I might be able to use them. Never mind. We're rushing them down, so we're not gonna hang on to that. We've got another 7 throw, or we can choose to go for an 8 attack here. Glad I went for the 7 throw, as the 8 would only have worked last time. We're getting some really, really huge value off this early game pressure. It may not seem like it's the early game for our opponent, but it's definitely still the early game. We both have very undeveloped hands. And I'm just counting on the fact that my individual card quality is going to carry me through the rest of this game. So I can't kill off of the 8 as a throw. Luckily, we get around a gold burst here, and no face down, because it's fairly unlikely he's going to have drawn 2 jokers in the first 11 cards of the game. So we take it with a perfect. Thank you, thank you. I am nobody. We get some good mental guard crushing going in that game. After the first loss and a second very, very close game, it's nice to be able to, hard shift your range. If your opponent is thinking, I think Jamie Chen was essentially doing to me the same thing that I was doing and establishing against new players or unfamiliar players, which is, hey, I'm just gonna push block until you make me not push block. I'm just gonna accumulate cards, and especially with Grave having such a powerful ability in his innate, being able to gain additional cards off of his mind game combat reveals, and going very, very low hand right now. This, in theory, should definitely favor me. I'm hoping that he's still going to continue to get aggressive here and walk into 25 points of free damage. He does not. He goes back to block, and now we have ourselves a knife fight, essentially. He's going to establish a particular range. He's going to start baiting and playing a heavier kind of mix, a more rapid mix of cards. So he went there for a very interesting gambit. Essentially, he played the 5, or revealed the 5, and then played the 6, hoping to block a 5 attack, baited by the fact that a 5 attack on Onimaru's part will option select will beat both sides of his 5. General's armor will carve right through his. Actually, a 5 attack will beat his 5 attack clean because it's 5.4 speed on Oni's side, and then it'll also get the guard crush if he decides to go for block. So something I'm going to file away for later. It's a very nice little. It's a cheeky little mind game. It also doesn't establish that he has a block higher than 6, so he can also follow that up with, for instance, a 9 block. See if I commit to something like a 6 to try to catch him on the next turn, that would have been effective. Now it does seem as if he does not indeed have a higher ranked block, but I have been wrong before, so I figured I'd go for the test and we end up getting some nice value out of that. It looks like Jamie-chan is doing a lot more like guard crush baiting that I am used to. Either that, or he's got very awkward draws and then just happens to draw the right rank of block that he needs the turn after. He's not revealing a lot of normal attacks, which I find a little bit strange. I think he is probably, and this is not something that I realized during the game, but I'm realizing now, he has essentially almost never revealed a normal attack, and that seems very odd to me. The only reason you would really do that is if you think that the Onimaru player is going to play a heavy 5 range, but there's only so many of those cards in my deck, so I don't know. It just feels like you're losing a lot of value. Like, imagine that Jack running into a 6 or a 10, or sorry. Yeah, imagine that Jack running into a 6 or a 10 defending itself. You know, you deal 8 damage, but imagine if it was like a 2 or a 3 leading into something else. It builds a hand faster that way. You cycle through your deck, you get to your options sooner, you get the 10s for later counters, so you don't have to worry about the 5s as much. It just seems kind of odd to me. So he powered up 4 5s, so he definitely has True Power of Storms online. Playing the Queen does suggest that I have the Joker. And you can see that first game Joker is now paying some dividends. Establishing that I'm willing to bluff. I will change up the rhythm of my blue bursts, essentially. See how often Jamie is willing to dodge here. He's got 4 dodges in the discard. I'm gonna have a look at my hand and know that I do not have the Joker. So on this next turn, I do need to be worried about potentially playing that Divide and Conquer, the Jack with Final Authority backing, because another dodge here is going to be really, really effective. If I'm feeling cheeky, I can go for E7 throw. It's going to defend against both a throw attempt, as we end up happening, or the dodge into True Power of Storms. He knows that I have Final Authority. He does have to give a certain amount of respect to the fact that I have an option that will beat his True Power of Storms raw. He now knows that I have 3 9s, a Jack, and a mystery card in hand. So okay, and played the ace. So generally what I take that to mean, especially after powering up for 3 other aces, he probably played one of them. I don't know offhand. But I suspect that would result in dodge into True Power of Storms. So I went for the gutsy 9 throw, given that he was respecting my my Final Authority very heavily. Figured I'd go for the throw and punish a dodge. Doesn't quite end up happening. And now that I have shown myself willing to throw, when I threw him to death last game, I was hoping that the Final Authority would catch something, but no. Goes into the dodge, and good decision making there. I'm on a very, very low hand. The odds that I've got the other Joker are very, very low, given that he peaked at my hand at a certain point, and he evens things up with that comeback super. I mean, he was very, very close to even. He had me at 24 hit points. Yeah, so he's very close to finishing that game off anyway, even without True Power of Storms. But True Power of Storms definitely helped. Okay, so immediate activation of Clockwork Formation. We're getting some nice early game mixes here. And again, no normals yet played by Jamie-chan in neutral, essentially. Which is really throwing me for a loop, but I think it definitely pays off in the end here. The amount of additional damage he could have done with normal draw, the amount of larger hand he could have had, really would have put me in a tough space. No pump there because I'm just trying to build a hand with that normal reveal. I'm trying to get around his early game here. Yeah, so he definitely has a tell. If he blocks low and gets punished, or if he blocks low at all, he may elect to go for a higher block, at least immediately after the combat loss. Gets me with the king here, but he's at 7 cards, so that's not going to lead into too much. And again, if that king had been any other normal, I would have to start being worried, right? It's going to pay for itself, it's going to build him a new hand, etc., etc., etc. Okay, went for the 6 attack anyway, hoping to see him start throwing out some 5s and 6s in neutral. So here we have the 5 reveal again. At this point, I'm just, so last time I didn't take the bait, I just went for the option select block. This time I'm going to go for it anyway, even though he has, he had that cute little trick. This is going to establish the fact that, I will occasionally try to, or at least both times, both times I have gone for something that punishes the honest reveal, right? So in the first instance, went for the block, which beats both block and the attack side. And in that case, going with the 5 attack, which beats both in a different way, in a more aggressive, punchy way than the block would. So hopefully he will think, okay, I've established this trick. He didn't take the bait the first time, but he did the second time, so maybe I can get something going. He has been so on point with these, with his throw timings. I've really got to give kudos where it's due. Jamie Chan has like a nose for when I am dodging. I've had so few successful dodges in these sets. Typically, I think this is a bit of bad chasing on my part, but I figure he's been fairly aggressive with throws. He has played them in a row, even if successful. So it has some odds of working, but they are definitely low. Luckily, we get to cash some of this damage out. Cash in one of those attached aces. 15 for free, and now the threat is that I'm going to tack on an additional 10 here. No face down, so we're going to take that for free. That is very, very nice to see, and we've got ourselves a nice little 30-point lead. We've got a lot of tools in hand. We've got 3 dodges that are probably going to get us killed. We've got some kings, which with final authority backup. And since he seems very stubborn, very willing to play stubborn, we're going to go ahead and play those kings and see what happens. And as it turns out, we have a chance for lethal here, and we get it. So very, very quick matches. Very, very quick matches here. Again, definitely an adjustment I would tell Jamie Chan to make is play more normal attacks, at least in the early game. Gonna go back to blocking, see what he establishes as his range. He has been mixing in now a few more respectful high blocks. I'm gonna try to chase this 8. I'm gonna get shut down with a jack. This is a 1st to 4 set, so I am on match point. I need to take one more win here. He has to win 2, so we are on track to do pretty well. I don't mind these combat losses. I've got to get these jacks out of the way anyway. With a grappler, I would throw into them. With Onimaru, I can play some, relatively low value attacks into them. So 3 jacks in a row. Or sorry, yeah. Block into 3 jacks, pretty effective. Fireball spam. See if he's got the 4th one. He does not. Okay, shows us the 2. So we've got the threat of dodge or attack here. The safest thing we can do, just hold block. That doesn't seem very interesting. I'm hoping, so yeah, I'm hoping just to catch a throw here, a greedy throw. you know, I've played very respectfully to his mix-ups, so maybe he's going to take this opportunity to go for something different. Does not, just goes back to playing the 10, perhaps hoping to bait a 5. The early 2 reveal is interesting. If I were a crazier man, I might discount the attack side of that 2 existing entirely. Because as I said, it seems that Jamie Chan is allergic to normal attack reveals at any point in this matchup. Okay, it just goes back to blocking with the 10. So he has essentially gotten the same value out of those 2 reveals, out of blocking with the 10 after 2 reveal, as he would have had by gambling something on the 2. You know, getting a lot of draws, working his way up to a 12-card hand. He is doing absolutely fine. I'm hoping he's going to get aggressive with throws. Instead, he sniffs something out, hits me with the queen, puts damage on the board, and we are not looking in all that great shape. We do have a joker, so that's going to help tremendously once we feel like he's got you know, any amount of aces in hand. There we go. First normal attack reveal of the game. Pretty sure. Went for a big 6 attack to try to stuff a guard crush normal. I think he's going to follow this up with a throw. Okay, so revealing the jack is usually... jacks are really tough for Onimaru to manage. His face cards in general are actually kind of tough to manage. And it's part of the reason I spend almost no time powering up with him. All of his cards are very, very important, do a very specific role, very key to his kit. But if you think about his jacks in particular, essentially once you've hit with one jack combo, you're not going to hit another one in the game. Unless the match goes really, really long, you are very unlikely to get another chance to go in for 20 with jacks. So you don't want to spend them as dodge reveals. You absolutely, absolutely need to save them for final authority attempts, unless they are, you know, it's dodge into lethal, right? And you still have options afterwards. We'll manage to catch a dodge. The fact that he has started dodging, the fact that he's not powering up on 12 cards, pretty much tells me that he's got True Power of Storms online already. So I'm chasing these dodges with some throws, hoping to frustrate him. I can take 1 raw True Power of Storms, but I really would rather not. So I'm hoping I catch something here, and there we go. We finally get the combat reveal that he has been worried about the whole game, essentially. True Power of Storms into Final Authority, and it's a jack, so we get that free 20 damage, no face down. A little bit surprised that he didn't face down there, even just to make me think about it. Wake Up Throw on you know, Onimaru on low card hand makes a lot of sense for me to go for some kind of dodge play, so not a bad idea. We've got kings to try to close things out. We do have the option of dodging into them, but now that he doesn't have True Power of Storms online, we can afford to be a little bit more aggressive with our throws. Probably only going to take 1 pump here, or maybe I pump twice, including the 8. Yeah, I really want to keep the kings to finish things off. That puts him at exactly 17. That's lethal to kings. I've got the 9 throw, which would also be lethal. But I want to hang on to the 9 because of Final Authority. Managed to draw my way into the Final Authority with Rising Sword. And we have an opportunity to close out the match right now. Jamie Chan has been really aggressive. Did I play the wrong? Wow, I played the wrong friggin' king. That's really embarrassing. Okay. Don't be like me. Don't get lucky. Play smart. Keep your head in the game. And yeah, there we go. So tense games, definitely. Jamie Chan off to a very good start in the match, and then we just were able to turn things around and close things out. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the game, and I will see you again next time. Until then, enjoy yourself some Yomi. Cheers.